This is the Education Business Podcast for consultants and business owners providing services in schools. I'm Claire Riley, and I'll be sharing how to start, grow and scale your education business. Happy New Year! Hopefully you've had a good break over Christmas and you are raring to go to build your business in 2023. So I recorded this episode before Christmas because my family time is really important to me, which you'll know. And so I'm actually not back to work until Wednesday when the children are back at school as well. Now, hopefully you've set your intentions for 2023. I did do an episode on that at the end of last year. So if you haven't, then go and have a listen. So if you have, you'll know who you want to be, what you want to do, and what you want to have by the end of the year, by the end of 2023. But how are you going to keep on track with that? How are you going to keep the momentum up? Because that is a really difficult thing to do. And in my experience, it's really easy to start the year fired up, thinking about business growth and a lot of extra tasks that you've just given yourself that are more focused on working on the business. But by the second week of January, you're just back to being stuck working in your business instead, with no time to bring your head above the water. And, you know, I'm probably saying something that perhaps you know well, and I'm saying it because I know this, I've been there. And we only make changes in our business if we focus on the important elements to bring change about, like training people to do parts of your role, or hiring new team members, or creating new systems so things can be more efficient. It's, you know the stuff. It's giving yourself the time to do that. So in this episode, I'm going to give you some ideas really that'll help you keep momentum as you start to feel a bit of a slump in the coming weeks, if you do. Hopefully you won't, but I think we all do to some extent. We have a good break over Christmas, we're raring to go, and then it's like, oh gosh, I've put so much energy into this, and you get a bit tired really if you're not focused on what's important. So at the back end of 2022, I really upped my listening game. So in November, I listened to 9 books. I surprised myself with that, I did. And often you'll get 1 or 2 little gems from a book that you just want to turn into a bit of a habit. And it's easy to forget unless you've got a system to bring that habit in. And I really struggle with this anyway. And you'll know that I've been using Motion, and I do like it actually. And the recurring tasks feature is something that I use on Motion. And so I've got a lot of non-working things on my recurring to-do list. And I've had the ideas from books that I've listened to. Like an example is we do a daily evening gratitude. So I do that with each of the kids, and I also do it with Ed as well. And I have that on my Motion as a reminder. I've got reminders to drink water because I know I need to drink water, to take vitamins on certain days, and also reminders to make use of the personal development subscriptions that I've signed up to so that I can get the most out of them instead of forgetting that I've done that, because that happens, doesn't it? So every time I listen to a book or a podcast and I think one of the ideas will be useful to me then, and I want to try it out, then I add it to my recurring Motion tasks. And so what I'm going to do in 2023, sort of on this theme really, is a fortnightly check-in on my 2023 intentions, because last year I don't feel like I checked in with that enough. So I'm going to put that on my recurring task list for Motion. I want to check in with how I'm getting on so that I can move forward through them more quickly, really. Because we can all start with good intentions, can't we? I start with good intentions, you start with good intentions, but keeping on top of that is really hard. And I just can't hold all of that in my head. I don't know about you, but I really, really struggle with that. So to keep momentum, I have to have systems in place. I must have systems in place in order to be able to do it. And I base that on my learnings from the previous year as well. So in 2023, I'm making improvements based on the tools that I now have access to that I think are going to help me. moving forward with my new intentions. So last year I didn't have motion, this year I do, and that is helping me to keep more of a rhythm. So that's one of the things I do to keep momentum, have good systems. Another thing that I do to keep momentum is to talk to others in the same boat. Now, that's usually Ed, as he's an entrepreneur as well, with a business exactly the same size, funnily enough. Or I also talk to my peers now in the Founders Club that I've joined, or the Exit Club that we're in as well, because we've been in that nearly a year now. And a number of them are ahead of me on the journey, and I find it so useful and reassuring to hear that my struggles and the feelings that I've had in the past, the struggles that they've had in the past, and they've overcome them, or even sometimes my struggles now are struggles that they still have now and they're still working through. It makes me feel really normal, and it also increases my belief for better things, because I look at them and think, oh wow, you're so successful in comparison to me. And I know that comparison is the thief of joy. But we do compare ourselves, and I kind of feel like that's a good way of comparing, because it helps me see, oh, if you can do it, I can do it too. So yeah, I find that helpful. And I think that's what mentoring can do for you as well. That is the kind of support that we give our clients, just helping them see that they're normal, really. It's kind of a normality check. Do you know, I don't talk about the mentoring services that we offer very much. It's 2-to-1 mentoring. You basically get me and Ed just chatting to you about your business. But you can grow your business so much more quickly when you can ask other entrepreneurs who have already been there and done it very specific questions about your business. You know, one of our clients said to me the other day that she's just gained a real depth of clarity through the challenge that we've brought to her ideas, just by asking questions and giving her feedback on some of her thoughts and plans. And I think that's so valuable, because it helps you move forward so much faster and be successful so much faster. And we're all looking to do that at the moment, aren't we? The world's just getting faster. So if you do think the mentoring could help you to grow your business this year, then honestly, we'd absolutely love to have you on board. We love chatting to people and helping them grow the businesses based on our insights and our experiences. And I just love to celebrate your successes as well. You can find out more information at educationbusinessclub.co.uk/mentoring. And I'll put that in the show notes as well. It might not be for you, but it might just be worth exploring, because it really could help you grow your business. And anyway, so the third thing I do to keep momentum and make sure that I'm moving forward on business growth rather than just tasks in my business is to book out dedicated time to work on those things. And so the other day, I suggested to one of our mentoring clients to book out a whole day to plan the next 3 months, instead of just hoping they would fit into an hour here or an hour there. And doing this, it's not always about the amount of time. It might be that it only takes you an hour, and then you can get back to doing the other day-to-day things that you need to do. What it does is it's about the different kind of brain space you need for this type of work. And if you gift yourself the time to do it properly, honestly, it's such a gift, and it makes such a difference. If you give yourself a day for the big, important, scary stuff, you'll really thank yourself for it. You're going to find it easier, and you're going to do great work. And it really is unlikely that you're going to take the full day. It's unlikely that you'll take the full amount of time, but you kind of tell your brain, like, this is important. I'm going to be a different person on this day. I'm going to be more of a leader, strategic person. And you just get into a different space, which is what you need to be able to do that well. And the fourth thing that I do to keep momentum is to take action. So I tend to go through cycles of being 150% on and burning the candle at both ends, and then feeling like it's hard to do anything a couple of weeks later. And obviously, I know that there are ADHD elements here, but I just think everyone struggles with it. I'm not going to lie. And so what I do in these moments is just to do something. So to gain the energy from momentum. And a good example is today. So yesterday I went to London for one of the founders meetings. I think I got the train at 17 minutes past 10. I was on the train for an extra hour. I was an hour and 15 minutes late to the founders meeting because some cabling had been stolen. So I must have been on the train for nearly 3.5, nearly 4 hours. Then I had to find it straight into the founders meeting. No time for anything really. As soon as that had finished, then we went out for a drink. And then I rushed back to the station to find my train had been cancelled. Honestly, because of the stolen cabling. And it was a big stressful day. And so I ended up getting on another train, but it wasn't direct, so it was taking a lot longer. Got into Leeds. There was a train on the platform where our train was supposed to come, so they changed it at the last minute. I rushed over there. Then 2 trains came on the same platform. I couldn't really hear what the lady was saying, so I nearly got on the wrong train. Honestly, it was a nightmare. I was thinking, Ed's going to have to come pick me up from Leeds. I'm going to miss the last train. Who's going to look after the children? All that kind of thing. I didn't get in till midnight. And then, you know what it's like? You kind of like need to come down from the day. So didn't get into, didn't kind of go, right, it's time to go to sleep until 20 to 1. And then obviously today, like it's up, got to get up and kids have got to go to school as normal. I didn't get up quite as early as I normally would. But I felt really slow today, quite lethargic. And yes, I've done some podcast episodes. In fact, I'll tell you how my day went. So I had an hour at the beginning of the day where I had the opportunity to get some stuff done. And it just wasn't happening for me because I'm just so tired, just really struggling. So what I decided to do was do my washing because I don't have to think much with that, and listen to a book because I'm listening. Well, I'm always listening to a book, but there's a specific book I'm listening to, and what that does is just create momentum because I'm doing something. I might not be doing the thing I planned to do. And yeah, some people would say, oh, push through that. But I'm kind of find what's easier to do to create the momentum. And then because I was doing that, then I was in a meeting and it was a meeting I didn't need to be on camera. So I did more washing, makes me feel like I've done something. And then I was straight into a podcast recording 2 episodes with Ed, then 1 episode with a guest. And then I've recorded 2 episodes now that I wrote on the train yesterday when I was going through all that. So that has helped me create that momentum. So often it is housework for me, but it might be something different for you, and listening to a book, because I find that the easiest to get going. It might not be the important on the business work, but you can't be doing that 24/7 anyway. And sometimes we just exhaust the energy that we have for that. So I find that just doing something helps me to build motivation for the harder things. Because here I am now. I could have, after I'd done those podcast episodes, I could have chosen to not record these 2 and record them later. But I've built the momentum now. It's worked. And here I am recording these and getting them finished. So yeah, I hope that is helpful. I do think motion helps build momentum. So there are 4 ways that you can keep your momentum going this year, especially in a few weeks' time when perhaps you're feeling your energy waning a little bit. And as always, I would just love to know how you get on. You can follow me on Instagram and let me know. And it's at Claire Riley, Teacher Entrepreneur, and I would love to connect with you on there. Thank you for listening to the Education Business Podcast. To get more information to grow your business, sign up at educationbusinessclub.co.uk.